I'm Jennifer Collins, a marketing professional who has always been respected and admired at the company where I work. My path so far has not been easy. I conquered each space with a lot of sweat and dedication. But everything began to fall apart when cruel rumors began to circulate around the office, affecting my personal and professional life in a devastating way. It all started one ordinary morning, when I entered the office and noticed strange looks and whispers that fell silent as soon as I passed. I didn't think much of it at first, but soon things started to become unsustainable. Nasty comments about my competence and even my love life spread like wildfire. I felt watched and judged all the time. One day during a meeting, my boss, Mr. Thompson, made an observation that perplexed me. "Jennifer, I hear you're having a hard time handling your projects. Need help?" he asked, with a tone of concern that seemed more like a veiled accusation. "No, Mr. Thompson. I'm managing everything as always." "Who said that?" My voice was shaking, but I tried to remain calm. "It doesn't matter who said it, Jennifer. What matters is that these rumors are circulating," he replied, looking away. I left that room with a heavy heart. Who would be spreading these lies? It's because I spent sleepless nights trying to understand what was happening, but the only thing I did was increase my despair. The gossip didn't stop. I started to notice that the most important projects were being assigned to other colleagues, and my confidence was shaken. I decided I needed to do something to clear my name and find out who was behind this. It was then that I had the idea of creating an anonymous blog. I created the blog under the pseudonym Hidden Truth and started posting evidence and reports that contradict the gossip. I spent hours after work collecting information and writing posts. I knew I had to be careful not to reveal my identity, but I was determined to expose the truth, little by little. One night I was reviewing a post when I received an anonymous message on the blog. It was from a coworker, Alex, who had also been the target of gossip. He proposed a secret alliance, offering valuable information that could help unmask the real culprits. The next day, I met Alex in the building's cafeteria. He seemed nervous but determined. "Jennifer, I know you are the Hidden Truth. And I want to help you," he said, looking around to make sure no one heard us. "How do you know?" I asked, surprised and a little scared. "I recognized your writing style and the way you described some events. I trust you, Jennifer. I was also a victim of these gossips and I want justice as much as you do." From that moment on, Alex and I started working together. He provided me with inside information and contacts that I didn't have access to. Together, we began to put the pieces of the puzzle together. Each new discovery was posted on the blog, and little by little, we began to see a pattern. The gossip was started by a group of employees who wanted to sabotage our careers to secure promotions. Tension in the office increased as the blog gained more followers and the posts became more revealing. We needed to be careful not to be discovered as we continued to collect evidence against the culprits. The journey was arduous, but with each post, we felt we were closer to unmasking the true perpetrators. The courage and determination I found in myself, driven by the unexpected partnership with Alex, gave me the strength to continue fighting for the truth. I created the blog on a cold winter night, when I could no longer sleep due to the incessant anguish of gossip. The idea came as a glimmer of hope, a last attempt to clear my name and restore peace to my life. I needed a space where I could expose the truth without being identified, where I could post evidence that refuted the lies that were ruining my reputation. I chose a neutral name for the blog, something that wouldn't draw attention to me immediately. The Hidden Truth seemed appropriate. My first post was a simple introduction, explaining that this would be a space dedicated to revealing the truth behind workplace gossip and intrigue. Over the next few weeks, I will share evidence and reports that debunk the lies being spread, I wrote. This is an anonymous effort to surface the truth and restore justice. The next morning, when I arrived at the office, I felt a mix of anxiety and adrenaline. I knew I was treading on dangerous ground, but I had no other choice. The blog was my only weapon against the slander that was destroying me. In the beginning, visits to the blog were few. Just some curious colleagues, perhaps. However, I continued posting. Each publication was meticulously planned, with details that only an insider could know. I started with simple facts, like the truth about projects that had been wrongly credited to others to harm me. One day, while reviewing my next post on my lunch break, I received an anonymous message on the blog. I am also a victim of these gossips. We can help each other. Signed, A. I was intrigued and, at the same time, afraid. Who would this person be? Could it be a trap? I decided to respond cautiously. We need to be discreet. How can I trust that you are not part of the group that is sabotaging me? The answer came quickly. I understand your distrust. Meet me today at 6 p.m. in the building's cafeteria. I will sit at the table in the corner, with a book with a red cover. At 6 p.m. sharp, I entered the cafe, trying to hide my nervousness. There he was, Alex, a coworker who had also been the target of gossip. We sat down, and after a few minutes of talking, I realized he was as desperate as I was to clear his name. Jennifer, I know you created the blog, he said in a whisper. I saw your posts and I know you are telling the truth. I want to help expose whoever is doing this to us. How can I be sure you're not trying to trick me? I asked, still suspicious. Alex smiled sadly. Because I have proof. And honestly, I have nothing left to lose. We agreed to work together, but with extreme caution. From then on, our meetings became frequent, always in discreet locations. Alex brought valuable information, such as emails and recorded conversations that clearly showed the conspiracy against us. One night, he handed me a flash drive. Here is all the evidence I got. This should be enough to unmask the real culprits. I spent hours analyzing the content, shocked by the extent of the sabotage. It was time to act. We decided that we would launch an explosive post, something that would leave no doubt about the veracity of the facts. We have to be very careful, I told Alex. One wrong move and everything could go down the drain. I know, he replied. But I believe we are doing the right thing. Finally, the post was ready. It was detailed, full of incontrovertible evidence. When I clicked publish, I felt a mix of fear and relief. Now, it was a matter of time before the truth came out. I remember exactly the moment I received the anonymous message. I was at my desk, focused on writing the next blog post, when my cell phone vibrated. It was an email with no identified sender. I opened it immediately, curious and anxious at the same time. The content of the message was surprising. Jennifer, I know who you are. Just like you, I've been the subject of gossip and slander. We need to talk. Let's meet at the coffee shop around the corner at 6 p.m. today. Signed, Alex. My heart raced. Who was Alex? What did he know? And how did he know about the blog? Questions were swirling around in my head, but one thing was certain, I needed to go to this meeting. At 6 p.m. sharp, I walked into the little cafe on the corner. The atmosphere was welcoming, with dark wooden tables and soft lighting. I walked forward, looking for someone who seemed to be waiting for me. It was then that I saw Alex, a coworker I only knew by sight, sitting at a table in the back. He looked up and waved at me discreetly. Jennifer, he asked as I approached. Yes, it's me. Alex, right? I replied, sitting across from him. He nodded and signaled the waiter, ordering 2 coffees. First, I want to say that I admire your courage in creating that blog. You are doing a great job in exposing the truth, he said, with a serious and sincere tone of voice. Thank you. But how did you find out it was me? I asked, intrigued. Alex smiled slightly. I work in the IT sector, remember? When I started seeing the blog posts, I recognized some details that only someone inside the company would know. I made some connections and reached out to you. I was impressed by his insight. And why did you decide to look for me? I asked. He took a deep breath before responding. Because I was a victim too. I suffered from the same cruel gossip and slander as you. I almost lost my job because of it. I want justice, Jennifer. I want to help expose whoever is behind all of this. The sincerity in Alex's eyes moved me. I realized he was being honest and that together we could make a difference. So, we're in this together? I asked, extending my hand. Yes, we are, he replied, shaking my hand firmly. With this alliance formed, Alex began sharing valuable information about the gossip circulating in the office. He had access to emails, conversation records, and even some documents that could help us identify the culprits. We spent hours talking, exchanging ideas and devising strategies. We need to be careful, Jennifer, he said at one point. Any slip-up and they might find out it's us behind the blog. I agree. But we also need to be quick. Every day that passes, more people are being harmed by these lies, I responded, sensing the urgency of the situation. The following weeks were intense. Alex and I exchanged encrypted messages, met at varying times and locations to avoid suspicion, and continued to gather evidence. Each new discovery was a step closer to unmasking the true culprits. One night, while we were reviewing some messages exchanged between the suspects, Alex found something crucial. Look at this, Jennifer, he said, showing an email exchange between two employees that explicitly mentioned sabotage against us. This is big, Alex. We need to blog this immediately, I exclaimed, feeling the adrenaline rush through my veins. Absolutely. But we need to do it in a way that leaves no doubt about the veracity of the information, he replied, already starting to plan the next post. Partnering with Alex not only gave me new hope but also strengthened my resolve. Together, we had the chance to turn the tide and expose the truth to everyone. And I was more than ready for it. I clearly remember the moment I called Mark, my boyfriend, to tell him everything that was happening. The office gossip had reached an unbearable point and I needed his support more than ever. The first time I heard the rumors, I was paralyzed. But now, with Alex by my side in the fight to unmask those responsible, I felt a mixture of determination and fear. Mark, I need to tell you something, I said, my voice shaking a little on the phone. Of course, Jen. What happened? He replied, worried. I explained the situation, from the first gossip to the creation of the anonymous blog and the partnership with Alex. As I spoke, I could feel the tension in the air. Mark was silent for a moment, processing everything. This is serious, Jen. I had no idea it was this bad, he finally said, his voice deep. I know. And it's getting worse and worse. But Alex and I are making progress. We're putting the pieces together and blogging, but I need you to understand, this is affecting everything. Including both of us. There was a pause, and then he said firmly, I'm on your side, Jennifer. We'll get through this together. Those words were a relief. Knowing that Mark was with me gave me the strength I needed to continue. In the weeks that followed, our routine completely changed. I spent hours with Alex, reviewing and verifying information, while trying to keep my personal life intact. Mark was a constant, comforting presence, always ready to listen and support me. One day, coming home after a long night of work with Alex, I found Mark in the kitchen, preparing dinner. He looked at me, with an expression of concern mixed with determination. You're exhausted, Jen. You need to rest, he said, pulling me into a hug. I know, but we're so close to figuring it all out. I can't stop now, I replied, my voice muffled against his chest. I understand. But you're not alone in this. Let me help in some way. That night, while we were having dinner, we discussed strategies and possible steps forward. Mark suggested that Alex and I should be even more careful, avoiding any behavior that might arouse suspicion. He was worried about our safety and the possibility of us being discovered before the time was right. The next day, I shared Mark's concerns with Alex. We were at the cafe near the office, our secret meeting place. Mark's right. We need to be extremely cautious from now on, I said, nervously stirring my coffee. Alex nodded. I agree. Let's increase the blog's security and be more discreet in our investigations. We can't risk everything now. This new approach brought additional tension, but it also brought us closer together. Alex and I worked as a synchronized team, exchanging information and strategies with precision. Despite the difficulties, Mark's constant support and partnership with Alex gave me the strength I needed to continue. This whole experience profoundly shook my personal life. There were moments when I felt on edge, about to fall apart. But whenever that happened, Mark was there, ready to pick me up. Your words of encouragement and your caring gestures became my anchor in the midst of the chaos. One night, after an important discovery, I came home exhausted but excited. Mark was on the couch, waiting for me. "You look different." "Did something good happen?" he asked, with a hopeful smile. "Yes, we found crucial evidence." "We are closer than ever to unmasking those responsible," I replied, sitting down next to him. Mark pulled me into a hug. "I'm proud of you, Jennifer. Your strength and determination are incredible." Those words meant the world to me. At that moment, I realized that no matter what happened, I had people by my side who truly cared about me. And that, more than anything else, gave me the courage to move forward. I clearly remember the day Alex and I finally started putting the pieces of the puzzle together. We were in my room, where the environment was silent and conducive to reflecting on everything we had discovered so far. Sitting side by side, our eyes alternated between the computer screen and the papers spread out on the table. "Jennifer, look at this," Alex said, pointing to an email he had just found in the company archives. "It's an exchange of messages between Ricardo and Carla. They mentioned something about guaranteed promotions and a perfect plan." I leaned in closer, reading the words carefully. This is concrete proof that they were planning something. But we still need more. Something that ties them all directly to the gossip. Alex agreed, frowning. There has to be something more. They wouldn't have been so careless as to leave it all in one email. We decided to investigate further. We spent hours sifting through emails, messages, and documents. Each small discovery brought us closer to the truth. It was then that we found something that made us freeze. A confidential document, hidden in a seemingly harmless folder, detailed exactly how they intended to sabotage our careers. "My God, Alex, look at this." It's a list of planned actions, with names and dates. "They even detailed the gossip they were going to spread about us," I said, feeling a mixture of anger and relief. Alex looked at me, his eyes reflecting the same indignation. They really went too far. But now we have what we need. We can lay it all out on the blog. With this new discovery, we began preparing a revealing post. We wanted to ensure that every detail was perfect, every proof was irrefutable. It took us days to get everything together, but we were finally ready. "Are you sure we're ready to post this?" Alex asked, his voice thick with concern and determination. "Yes, we are. They need to be held accountable for what they did. And we deserve our reputation back," I replied firmly. On the day of the post, the office seemed more tense than ever. Everyone was talking about the blog, and we knew our reveal would make an immediate impact. When we finally hit the publish button, I felt a mix of nervousness and excitement. Reactions were quick. Within minutes, the post began to be shared frantically. Coworkers, superiors, and even people outside the company were commenting on the revelations. Management had no choice but to launch an internal investigation. "Jennifer, did you see?" Mark, my boyfriend, said as he entered the office. "The post is going viral. They can't hide it anymore." "I know, Mark. It's exactly what we needed," I replied, feeling a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. The company's investigation was quick and efficient. Within days, those responsible for the gossip were identified and fired. Justice was finally being served. Alex and I were called to a company board meeting, where we were recognized for our courage and determination. "Jennifer, Alex, you did an incredible job. The company owes you a lot," said the HR director, shaking our hands. "We will take steps to ensure this never happens again." We left the meeting feeling a mixture of relief and accomplishment. Our reputations were restored, And, most importantly, we were able to expose the truth. It was a difficult journey, but it was worth it. "Jennifer, we did it," Alex said, smiling at me. "Now we can move forward, knowing we did the right thing." "Yes, Alex. We did the right thing. And that's all that matters," I replied, feeling a new wave of hope and determination. This experience taught me a lot about resilience, courage, and the importance of fighting for the truth. And most of all, it showed me that even in the darkest of times, there is always a way to rise up and fight for what is right. The tension in the office increased with each passing day. The blog I created, under the pseudonym Voce de Verdade, was gaining many followers and, as a result, the posts became increasingly revealing. Every click, every comment, was a step closer to unmasking those responsible for the gossip that had destroyed Alex's and my reputation. However, as the blog became more popular, the risk of being discovered also increased. One morning, while we were having coffee in the break room, Alex approached me with a worried look on his face. "Jennifer, we need to talk. Now," he said, in a low, urgent tone. I followed him into an empty conference room. He closed the door and made sure no one was around before speaking. "I think we're being watched. Over the past few days, I've noticed some suspicious looks and heard whispers that make me uneasy." I leaned in closer, trying not to show the panic that was beginning to build inside me. "Do you think they know about the blog?" "I'm not sure, but I feel like we're under surveillance. We need to be extremely careful going forward." I nodded, feeling a wave of adrenaline course through my body. "Let's take extra care. Every movement needs to be calculated from now on." Over the next few days, Alex and I communicated only through encrypted messages and quick meetings in less obvious places, like the parking lot or the coffee shop across the street. Each new discovery was carefully analyzed before being posted on the blog. One afternoon, as I was going through a series of old emails, I came across something that looked promising. There was an exchange of messages between some of the suspicious employees where they openly discussed eliminating competitors for upcoming promotions. My heart raced. This was overwhelming proof that the gossip had been designed to sabotage us. That night, I arranged to meet Alex at a discreet bar. When he arrived, I showed him the printed emails. "This is pure gold," he said, with a satisfied smile. "We need to post this as soon as possible." "Yes, but we need to make sure we don't raise suspicions. We'll split this information into several posts so it looks like we're figuring it out little by little." We agreed to the plan, and over the next few weeks, each new blog post brought a piece of truth to light. The office was in shambles. People whispered in the hallways, trying to figure out who was behind the blog. The tension was palpable. One day, while I was at my desk, I got a text from Alex. "I found something big. I need to talk to you now." We met in the parking lot. He was agitated, almost out of breath. "Jennifer, I just discovered that one of the company's directors is involved. He has a plan to use this sabotage to secure his rise to the CEO position." My blood ran cold. That changed everything. We need to be even more careful. If he finds out we're behind the blog, it could be the end of us. I agree. Let's prepare a bombshell post, but we need to do it with surgical precision. We went back to my apartment and for hours we worked on the most important post of all. Every word was chosen carefully, every proof was meticulously attached. When we finally finished, we were exhausted, but we knew it was necessary. "It's time," I said, feeling a mixture of fear and excitement. "Let's publish." The post went live and, within minutes, it started going viral. The office was in an uproar the next morning. The company's management was forced to act, initiating an internal investigation that culminated in the dismissal of those responsible. Finally, the truth had been revealed, and my reputation, as well as Alex's, had been restored. The feeling of justice was indescribable. We had won, but we knew that this was just the beginning of a new phase in our lives. We have finally reached the crux of our investigation. Alex and I had spent countless nights locked in my small living room, surrounded by stacks of documents, notes, and countless cups of coffee. The feeling of being so close to the truth was both exhilarating and exhausting. "Jennifer, you need to see this," Alex said, eyes wide as she stared at her laptop. I quickly approached it, and as I looked at the screen, my heart almost stopped. Here was the proof we were looking for, a series of emails exchanged between the leaders of the gossip group, explicitly discussing their intentions to sabotage our careers. The messages were clear, direct and, above all, incriminating. "I can't believe we found this," I said, feeling a mixture of relief and indignation. They were so careless as to leave these messages in their corporate emails. Alex nodded, still absorbing the magnitude of what we had discovered. "This is more than enough to unmask them. With this evidence, we can expose everything." We decided that the post needs to be meticulously planned. We couldn't risk making a mistake now that we were so close to revealing the truth. We spent hours writing the text, carefully choosing every word, every phrase, to ensure that the post was powerful and unquestionable. "Alex, we need this post to be perfect," I said, as we proofread it for the umpteenth time. "We can leave no doubt about their culpability." He agreed. "Let's do this right. Our career, our reputation, everything is at stake." Finally, when we were sure the post was flawless, Alex looked at me and said, "Is it ready? Because once we hit that button, there's no going back." I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility. "I'm ready. Let's do this." With one last look of approval, I clicked the publish button. We watched in silence as the post was uploaded to the blog. We knew that, from that moment on, nothing would be the same as before. "What do you think this will lead to?" Alex asked, breaking the silence. "Honestly, I don't know," I replied. "But I know we did what was right. We exposed the truth and now it's up to the company's management to act." The next day, the repercussions were immediate. The post went viral in a matter of hours, with comments and shares exploding on social media. In the office, the tension was palpable. No one was sure who created the blog, but everyone was talking about it. "Did you see the last post?" I heard one colleague whisper to another. "They have real evidence this time. This is going to be a big problem." Shortly afterwards, I was called to a meeting with senior management. My heart raced, but I remained calm. I knew it was a matter of time before they connected the dots and realized my connection to the blog. "Jennifer, we are conducting an internal investigation into the allegations made in the blog," said the HR director. "It looks like you might have valuable information to share." I smiled slightly, feeling like the tide was finally turning in my favor. "I'm willing to cooperate fully. I have evidence that could help clarify everything." Later, as Alex and I watched the commotion in the office, he turned to me and said, "I think we did it, Jennifer. We managed to unmask them." "Yeah, I guess so," I agreed, feeling a rush of relief and satisfaction. "But we still have a long way to go. The battle may be won, but the war is not over yet." This discovery was a milestone in our journey. We knew we couldn't relax, but for the first time in a long time, we felt that justice was within our reach. And we were prepared to face any challenge that came our way. Finally, the day had arrived. It was time to publish the revealing blog post. I, Jennifer Collins, was about to expose the whole truth about the gossip that almost destroyed my career and my life. With shaking hands, I finished the last details of the post. Alex was by my side, holding my shoulder and giving me the courage I needed. "Are you ready?" he asked, his voice a mix of excitement and nervousness. "Yes," I replied, trying to sound confident. "It's now or never." With one last click, I published the post. The text meticulously detailed all the evidence we had collected against the group of employees who orchestrated the smear campaign. Every detail, every message, every malicious action was there, exposed for all to see. In the first few minutes after posting, the blog began to receive a flood of visits. It was as if the entire world was waiting for this revelation. Notifications of new comments and shares kept appearing. Look at this, Alex said, showing his cell phone. It's going viral quickly. I think we did it. As we watched the post gain traction, we knew the company's management couldn't ignore what was happening. And, in fact, it didn't take long for the news to reach the ears of superiors. My phone rang. It was the Director of Human Resources, Mr. Thompson. Jennifer, I need you to come to my office immediately, he said, his voice serious. And bring Alex with you. When we arrived at Mr. Thompson's office, we were greeted by a group of executives with worried expressions. Mr. Thompson looked at us with a mixture of surprise and disappointment, but also a hint of recognition for our efforts. Do you have any idea what caused it? He asked, holding up a printed copy of the blog post. Yes, we do, I replied firmly. We caused the truth to come out. Mr. Thompson sighed and nodded. You have done an impressive job gathering all this evidence. We have no choice but to launch an internal investigation immediately. If what you say here is proven true, the guilty parties will be severely punished. As the investigation continued, the tension in the office was palpable. Everyone was talking about the blog, the revelations, and what would happen next. Some colleagues came up to Alex and me to discreetly congratulate us, while others looked at us suspiciously. You were brave, said Clara, a coworker. I would never have had the courage to do what you did. Thank you, Clara, I replied. It was a tough fight, but we needed to do it. The administration took the investigation very seriously. Meetings were called, evidence was analyzed, and interviews were conducted. In the end, the truth prevailed. Those responsible for the gossip were identified and immediately fired. Jennifer, Alex, can you come in? Mr. Thompson called us into his office once again. I want to congratulate you for your exceptional work. You not only protected your reputations, but also helped the company rid itself of toxic elements. Thank you, Mr. Thompson, Alex said. We just wanted justice. Well, you guys did it, he replied. And, Jennifer, I'd like to talk to you alone for a moment. Alex left the room, leaving me alone with Mr. Thompson. He stood up and handed me an envelope. Jennifer, this is recognition for your work. Inside this envelope is an offer for a new position as marketing director. I am wordless. Principal? I don't even know what to say. You deserve it, he said with a smile. Your courage and determination were remarkable. Please accept this as fair reward for your fight and resilience. I left Mr. Thompson's office with a light heart and a smile on my face. The battle had been hard, but the victory was sweet. And most of all, I knew I had friends and allies by my side, ready to face any challenge that came my way. Finally, justice was served. The company's management became aware of the irrefutable evidence that Alex and I had collected and published on the blog. Those responsible for the gossip were fired, and little by little my reputation began to be restored. It was an incredible feeling to see those people who had hurt me so much finally being held accountable for their actions. I remember the day we were called into the CEO's office. I was nervous, but also hopeful. Alex was next to me, and he looked anxious too. When we entered the room, the CEO, Mr. Thompson, looked at us seriously, but there was a gleam of approval in his eyes. Jennifer, Alex, he began, I want to thank you for the work you did. The evidence you presented was crucial to identifying and punishing those responsible for this malicious gossip. It was a team effort, I replied, trying to maintain my composure. I couldn't have done it without Alex's help. Alex nodded. We just wanted the truth, Mr. Thompson. And make sure no one else goes through what we went through. Mr. Thompson smiled slightly. You achieved much more than that. Thanks to you, we can now have a fairer and more transparent work environment. And therefore, I want to formally express my recognition. He paused, looking at some papers on the table before continuing. Jennifer, your courage and determination were exemplary. The company not only regained its trust, but also gained an employee who demonstrates leadership and integrity. Therefore, I am happy to announce that you will be promoted to the position of marketing manager. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Thank you very much, Mr. Thompson. This means a lot to me. And Alex, he continued, turning to my colleague, your ability to collect and present evidence was fundamental. Therefore, you will also be promoted to Special Projects Supervisor. Alex smiled, visibly moved. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. It is an honor. After the meeting, we left the CEO's office still a little stunned by the good news. We stopped in the hallway, and I looked at Alex, feeling enormous gratitude. Alex, I don't know how to thank you enough. You were amazing. He laughed. We're in this together, Jennifer. I think we make a good team. And indeed, we did. From that moment on, our partnership only grew stronger. The trust and respect we developed for each other during the investigation created a solid foundation for our professional and personal relationship. And, of course, Mark, my boyfriend, was by my side throughout this time, offering the emotional support I needed so much. Later that week, the company organized a meeting to officially announce the layoffs and promotions. It was a very emotional moment, and I felt proud not only for myself, but for everyone who supported us during that difficult journey. After the meeting, many colleagues came to congratulate me. Among them was Sarah, a colleague with whom I had had some disagreements in the past. She approached me with a sincere smile and said, Jennifer, I want to apologize for any misunderstandings we had. And congratulations on the promotion. You deserve. I smiled back. Thank you, Sarah. I'm glad we can start again. That was one of the most valuable lessons I learned, the importance of truth and justice, but also of reconciliation and forgiveness. This experience not only restored my reputation, but also made me grow as a person and professional. And, alongside Alex and everyone who supported me, I was ready to face any challenge that might come my way. Just when we finally thought everything was resolved, the biggest twist in this saga of intrigue revealed itself. I was in the company cafeteria, enjoying my breakfast and trying to get back to a normal routine, when my phone started vibrating incessantly. It was a message from Alex. Jennifer, we need to talk. Urgent. Boardroom 3. With my heart racing, I headed to the meeting room, where I found Alex with a serious expression. He was holding a tablet and, without saying a word, pushed it towards me. On the screen were a series of emails that he had discovered. Here was the proof that would change everything. These emails. Are they from Gregory? I asked, trying to process the information. Yes, Jennifer. It's worse than we thought. Gregory was not only behind the gossip, but he engineered it all to secure promotion to the CEO position. He wanted to destroy us to appear as the company's savior, Alex explained, his voice filled with indignation. Gregory was one of the company's most respected directors, someone everyone believed to be principled and fair. Discovering that he was the mastermind behind all the sabotage was a shock. We needed to act quickly, but cautiously. We decided to gather all the evidence and prepare a final blog post, which would not only unmask Gregory, but also reveal his malicious intentions. We spent the rest of the day going over every detail, making sure nothing was missed. I couldn't believe what I was about to do. I was nervous, but also determined. In the evening we finally published the post. Titled The True Face of the Traitor, it exposed all of Gregory's actions, his intentions, and how he tried to destroy our careers to achieve power. The post quickly spread throughout the company and, within hours, reached the highest levels of management. The next morning, the tension in the office was palpable. Everyone was talking about the bombshell reveal. When I was called into the main meeting room, I knew it was time for the final showdown. Jennifer, Alex, please come in, said the company's CEO, with a serious expression. Gregory was there, sitting, but his face was pale and he looked incredulous. What does that mean? Gregory asked, his voice shaky as he pointed to the screen displaying the blog post. It means your actions have finally been exposed, Gregory. We have all the proof that you were behind the gossip and sabotage, I replied, keeping my voice steady. The CEO reviewed the evidence and, after brief deliberation, announced his decision. Gregory, your conduct is unacceptable. You are fired, effective immediately. And I want everyone to know that we do not tolerate this type of behavior at our company." Gregory left the room, disgraced. I felt relieved, but the biggest surprise was yet to come. "Jennifer, you demonstrated exceptional courage and determination in handling this situation. And Alex, your support was crucial. We need leaders like you here," said the CEO, with a smile. "Jennifer, we would like to promote you to the position of director. You deserve this position and the confidence that comes with it." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It was the fair reward for all the struggle and resilience I showed. I accepted the promotion with pride, knowing that this was just the beginning of a new phase in my career. As we left the room, Alex smiled at me. "You did it, Jennifer. We did it." And at that moment, I knew that, despite adversity, the truth always prevails, and justice can be achieved. The journey was finally over, and I was ready to start a new chapter, now as a director.